Okay, this is my 2007 Hyundai Santa Fe V6, and I've had it, now it's 2023, so I've had it like 16 years. And you can see the alternator there, it's brand new. I just had to replace it. This is probably the third time it's been replaced in 16 years. And the reason being is because the valve cover leaks. And it's a known problem with these cars, and it probably leaks right here where this silicone is. And no matter how many times you get it fixed, sooner or later it will leak on there. And the solution's always to replace the valve cover and then replace the alternator. And under warranty, the valve cover's been replaced 2 or 3 times. The alternator's been placed, I think, once or twice during warranty time. And we just replaced it again, so it's been 2 or 3 times at least that alternator's been replaced. So if you look online, you'll see people commenting about the alternator getting oil in it from that valve cover, and no matter how many times you get that gasket replaced, it's going to leak. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to put a piece of aluminum over this area here. It's got holes all around the alternator, so there should still be some airflow, but I'm going to probably silicone right here and put a piece of aluminum, and I'll show you what the aluminum looks like that I'm going to put there. This pan from my grill, it's stronger than normal aluminum, but it's not that hard that you can't cut it with a scissor. So what I'll do is I'll cut some small strips, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end, and I'll cover some of these holes up on the top alone, and I'll show you a picture of what it looks like when there's oil getting down there. But there's enough surface here where I can put the silicone on it and just have it flapped over this area, so that if the oil goes down, it's going to go on the aluminum and not the alternator. So I'll show you how I do that. You can see that I have the alternator there, and I cut a piece of aluminum from a tray, and I made it about 1.5 inches wide, and just what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit it over the alternator and see what it looks like before I do anything. And you can see there that it just sits there. It's a little close to the belt. I don't know if you could see that because it's kind of dark. Let me move this light a little bit. Maybe that helps, I don't know. But I'm going to try to cover that top of the alternator with that. And then I'm going to use this Permatex adhesive sealant, and I'm just going to put some sealant on the alternator itself. Hopefully that'll be enough to block any oil that may try to drip on there. Okay, I hope you can see this, but I basically spread it on with my finger, and I put it on a portion of the alternator that is not near the holes, so that when I put the tinfoil material on there, I can press it and not have to worry about it covering the holes. So there it is. I'm letting it sit there for a couple hours, and then I'll fold up the edges that may interfere with the belt. This is very light material, so even if it did interfere with the belt, it wouldn't really matter. But I folded it to the front of the alternator as well, so that it covers some of the holes up there. It should be good. The whole key here is to get that adhesive down first, because if you try to position that aluminum, and it's really hard to position in that small crack there that's there. Now some people are going to say, well, it needs to get airflow down there to cool off the alternator. I'm covering about maybe 10% of the alternator with that thing, and I'm going to try to bend it up so that some airflow can still get into the top there, but I don't think 10% is going to matter on an alternator. But we'll see now. I put the other aluminum down on the bottom pretty deep. So I'm not sure putting the sealant on where I think it's leaking on the crack of the gasket does anything, but I put it there anyway. What do I got to lose, right? So I put some of that sealant on where I think it leaks, and it also won't get to the alternator because I got that aluminum sheet there blocking it. And as it dries, I'll just curl up the end a little bit and make a little bit of a wall so it doesn't flow back down. Okay, I was able to let it dry for about 3 or 4 hours, and it's stiff. So then I bent up the aluminum so that there's a little like cup there, so it just doesn't fall back onto the bottom of the alternator at some point. But it looks really good. It's really stiff and it's glued really well, and I think that's going to solve the problem. Even the material I put on the crack is hardening. It's still not completely hard, but I think even that might help. I don't know. But having that over the alternator now, I think will for sure help with the alternator surviving. And I'll keep an eye on this and make sure that there's no oil getting anywhere just over time. Oh yeah, and to get this stuff off your fingers, you use rubbing alcohol. Now I'm going to take this piece off here and clean it out, and then I'll just recap it. Hopefully this won't harden. And I have a bamboo skewer that I'm going to stick into this hole and clean this out with. I already put the cap on here and cleaned it off so that this won't harden. A lot of people say that they get mad because this stuff gets stuck in here, you can't get it out. So this is what I use, Permatex black adhesive sealant, and it supposedly goes up to I think 450 degrees. So for this application I think it's fine. And I have an Amazon link in the description below if you want to get the same material.